I first came to Harlem, I was as lost and stupid as you. Ready?
I figured Colombo would send your sorry ass. Chance, is he still alive?
Yeah, alive, I swear.
Meet Big Dick Buster.
All right, so episode 6 of Godfather of Harlem season 4. So things have gotten quite interesting with our man Frank Lucas, right? Because it picks off after, in episode 5 where Joe Colombo had like Frank Lucas, kidnap Chance, and that's when he was beating up Chance in the beginning, and he was like, tell us like what's going on and this and that. But before I get to that bit, because in the beginning it was where you had Bumpy Johnson catch like a heart attack, because he catches like a heart attack because he's like, Chance is taken, and that's when Frank Lucas just comes in there and he's just like, well, we got Chance, you can't kill me, and there's nothing you could do about it. I just love how Bumpy Johnson's like, kill him now, kill him. He's like, no, Penny Gruesome, you can't shoot him, kill him, Chance, and then he catches like a heart attack and shit. So that's when he's like hallucinate. Now here's the like the hint here, because when he was sitting like at the diner and he had like his breakfast, from what it looks like, it looked like eggs and chicken. From what it looked like. Now, the actual story is where I think you could say it's like a premonition to what's gonna probably happen to Bumpy Johnson in the future. They just gave everybody a tease. That like the whole heart attack and him sitting at the diner. That well, he had the heart attack at the spot that he was at, but him at the diner, it's like I like what they did, because that's gonna be a clue and a hint of what's gonna happen to Bumpy Johnson later on in the story. So I was like, I see what they did there. And even though when they had added like Malcolm X, and him and Malcolm was talking, he was just like, I stopped selling the doogie and giving all that poison to the community. And that's when Malcolm X was like, yeah, but you're still you still like gambling, you still got some stuff going on there. He like, listen, I'm trying, but he like, tell me what to do, because all of this stuff that was happening, like these dreams, like these lucid dreams that he was having, and he was talking like to Malcolm X. I just loved all of it, man. I loved that, because he was talking to him and he was like, like he's like, Malcolm X was just so wise beyond his years, man. He was just so wise, because the things that he was talking and telling him about, finding like your true self, even like the weaknesses like within yourself, like he was trying to explain to him like throughout everything, like, listen, man, like I can't give you the answers, like you got to find the answers yourself. And then that's when um you had Mamie Johnson, that she was there at the hospital, because it was funny, because he jumped, he was like, church, like that. I was like, yo, that shit it was kind of funny though. And then that's when he just like goes back into dreaming, and then that's when you had like, Frank Lucas beat up like Chance, and that's when he was like telling him, he was just like, well, you didn't hear the news that Bumpy Johnson's in the hospital. And that's when Joe Colombo was gonna kill him, until like Chance was like, well, if you kill him, technically I could be of use, because I am number 2. I am next in line to take over. So like that's what had Joe Colombo thought about it, and then he just said, all right, I ain't gonna do it. Let him go. But then later on they had the conversation again where it was Chance and Frank Lucas, because Frank Lucas is all about, he wants it now, and he wants to be in control, and he wants people to like fear him. And that's when Chance told him, he was like, yeah, I served in I think the Vietnam War, right? He served, and that's when he said he was beaten for it, because at the time, because again, that was some racist shit back in the day. So he's explaining his backstory to Frank Lucas to try to tell him that, listen, when he got involved with Bumpy Johnson, he didn't immediately get involved, because Bumpy Johnson knew that Chance had a chip on his shoulder. So he was like, I want you to read these books. I want you to, because he was trying to like mentor his mind a little bit. And then that's when he started giving him a little work. Then it started to be big work. And then after spending so much time with Bumpy, that's when he was like, all right, eventually you're going to be my number 2. And that's when, Frank was like, well, I kind of want to be like that. And, but he feel like it's too late. And then that's when Chance was telling him, he's like, well, if you let me go, it might be a chance for you. And that's when he's like, nah, I'm not going to do that. So that's when you had Joe Colombo give off this idea of, well, you sneak into the hospital and you kill Bumpy. You kill Bumpy and you get 10,000 for it. I mean, shit. Back in those days, $10,000 meant a lot compared to now. That money, that's rent money right now in today's time. But he does that. He gets to disguise as a nurse, knocks out the guard, and then he comes in there. Yo, I love Bumpy Johnson, man. Damn, it was just so funny. He was like, "Yeah, I knew your punk ass was gonna come up in here. I know Joe sent you over here to try to kill me." And then he said, "What the fuck you want? Get on your knees." I love that shit. I love that shit. That's when you had like Malcolm X talks to him. He's like, "Listen, it's what the white man wants you to do, to have like black against black." And he's like, "That's not the point. You're missing the vision." I said, "Damn it, I missed this man. He's so wise, man. He just knew shit." And he was talking to him, and that's when he was like, tell Joe that we got a conversation. Tell him we're gonna meet. Get the fuck out of here. Go." Hey, he told him that shit. That's when you see like Joe Colombo later talk to Bumpy, and he was like, "Well, we can strike up a deal." Because the thing is with Bumpy, he's trying to do something in the honor of Stephanie St. Clair, to have something black owned, like have it strictly for black people, like no Italians, no white people, like strictly black. But then Joe will say, "Listen, if we do shit right, I gotta inform the other families about it." Because again, the Italians are greedy. These motherfuckers, they so damn greedy, because it's like they want a piece of the pie. It's like if he's doing something, we want in on it, and that's like, damn it, can't he just do his own thing? But it's a team thing. If we all go to prison, no, if you get caught, we all get caught type shit. So I was like, but Joe Colombo talks to Bumpy about it, and that's when it was like, all right, come up with some sort of a arrangement where it's like he helps out Joe. Joe gives Chance back alive and unharmed, and he does that. And that's when you see like Bumpy talk to Chance at the end. He was just like, "Well, I did this because again, like he loves Chance. He loves Chance and Pettigrew, man. Like that's the team. That's the team, man. That is the team. So of course he's gonna save his man. He's not gonna allow his man to go off into the hand him over to the wolves. Like, nah, he's not gonna do that. So that's when he gives him up, right? And you had that happen, and then you had Olympia. Like when they was taking Bumpy out the hospital, like you had Olympia like looking at Bumpy, because she goes over there to see Stella, and she's like, "Listen, I want everything back, like everything that you took from me." And that's when Stella was like, "Don't you remember, like you tried to have me killed, right?" And then that's when she goes, like Olympia talks to Tommy to try to say like, "Well, we got to try to get rid of Stella, because she's dangerous and she's trying to come to take you out," which swerved on her, because Tommy tells Stella, and she was like, "Well, he tells her about it." He was just like, "Yeah, it was all of what you said. Like what you basically told me is true, that she lied about this." So they was like, everybody's telling her, Pino and Tommy, like, "Listen, we gotta I don't know, you gotta take her out. You gotta get rid of her." And that's when she's like, "No, I'd rather scare her." Even though Stella, I feel like with that type of thing, because if she's been your stepmother, I mean, I would have said there might have been a time, even though she explained that she was only nice to her because Chin was there. But when Chin was like not in the room, she would always treat her like a piece of shit. I don't know why she didn't shoot her or had her killed. It was just like, yeah, to scare her and have Pino beat up on them legs. So I'm like, I guess that'll do for now. But I think it's a mistake on letting her live, like Tommy said, because she has dirt on everybody. And what's to say for her to like go to the feds and turn in some information, or she goes to the other families to try to have Stella killed. So it's like, I think that was a bad look on Stella, and Stella's being too naive here with the situation, because everybody's saying she needs to die. But we're going to see how that little story development is actually going to wrap up with that. And then we got the Black Panthers story, because so Elise and the team, right, they're trying to, have like some sort of revenge against the pigs, right? Because after what they did. So they formulate this plan of, okay, should we blow up the police station? And then that's when I think Sadiq or one of them said something about like blowing up the car. So it's like, all right, they go along with the car and they plant the bomb in the car. So then you have like these two officers arrest like one of the Black Panthers, but then you find out that he was actually an informant. So Elise came up with a smart plan, a really smart plan, because she was like, "I learned this from my father Bumpy." So they all like meet up in this like I guess warehouse type thing, and that's when like the cops was there, but then you had all the like the Panthers had guns on the cops. I for the life of me, I literally forgot about this man. I literally forgot about him because she said, "Listen, if you don't tell me who is the rat in our organization, I'm gonna send this man in here." For the life of me, I swear, I literally forgot about Big Dick Bubble. He came up in there because I said the last time we seen him, he was taking somebody's cheeks. From what I remember, I think this was in season 2. Oh my god, I can't remember, but I think this might have been where Bumpy was like,
Yeah, you ain't gonna listen to me? Guess what? I got something for you. Hey, come here. This right here, Big Dick Bubba. He gonna handle you real quick.
like I believe that was in like season 2, but they had him intimidate, or most likely intimidated, or he probably did, and that's when they found out, oh, one of the guys was an informant. So Sadiq has to suffocate him, and then that's when you see like Elise was like a little shaken up a little bit about it, and that's when he's told her, he like, listen, we can't be having people over here talking because they bust in at the time, like they bust in on their home because this guy was informant, so they bust in and they was like, where's the bomb? And then they didn't find anything until Elise came up with the plan, and that's how it happened. But I like how Sadiq was like, and Elise, I think they're gonna get much more closer because he explained about his son going off into Vietnam, like the war, and that's when he was saying that, yeah, like he misses his son. I thought he was gonna say that his son died, but he was just clarifying that his son was in the army. And then that's when they came up with like, well, that's when like the cops like bust in on them because they thought they was gonna find the bomb there. Thankfully, like they moved the bomb into like a different location because I mean, Afeni was trying to say like because she was trying to talk them out of it. Like, I don't know about this. This is murder. Like, we trying to do things peacefully. We don't want the cops to come after. Then you had that dickhead cop like punched her in the face. I was like, oh, you gonna punch the Afeni? No, you fuck. Like, he just fucking just socks her shit. I was like, all right, right. But I mean, I like what they're doing. I know some people may not like the whole, Frank Lucas and like Bumpy, like you made him into like this punk where he's, going up against Bumpy rather than like working with him. I mean, I would have liked it either way if they would have just had it where like Frank is just trying to like work with Bumpy and he's being like a student. I would have not mind that story, but if they want to go with this story of, okay, this, Frank Lucas is not taking shit from anybody and he's just kind of like out of control at first, because all of the hints and signs that they was actually explaining in this episode, sorry, was that he's gonna be bigger than the Italians. That's what it really was. Like, he's gonna be bigger because even when Chance was like, yeah, the reason why Bumpy didn't have you jump through the hoops because he saw something in you, which is another hint to what's gonna happen in the future. Because after when Bumpy does, pass away and he goes away, that's when Frank is gonna do his own thing. But I think what they're doing with the story is to have Frank like be involved with the Italians for like a little bit, then work with Bumpy Johnson for like a little while, and then figure out the two, and then realize that maybe that the mistake on Bumpy's part was he was still involved with the Italians instead of doing his own thing. Even though we see it in the story that Bumpy is trying to like separate from the Italians and just have like black owned businesses and black owned things, but the problem is the Italians just can't keep mainly Joe, because none of the other Italians don't really care. It's really Joe. It was Chinjigante and Joe, but now it's Joe that's really like trying to stick it to Bumpy. Like, nah, come on, man. Like, I want that money. Stop playing with me, man. I want a piece. But it's like, that's how it is. They greedy. And it's another like trope in history of, police either jacking up black people or some white guy coming along and screwing shit up for black people. And it's been like that in history. It's been like that because again, we did have a Black Wall Street at one point. I mean, even though there's some story behind that, but I mean, amen. It's just what it is. But I can't wait to see what they're gonna do for episode 7. And I know all of this is just gonna build up to eventually Frank Lucas is gonna work with Bumpy Johnson and he's gonna be under his tutelage, despite Chance and Pettigrew's like say so on all of this, because they're gonna be like, well, this guy tried to have you killed, he betrayed you, but then they're gonna be like, all right, let's see what we can do here, because again, even though he was supposed to be dead, but he's not gonna die. Like Frank Lucas is not gonna die. He's gonna be around for a very long time, and we know what's gonna happen ultimately to Bumpy Johnson's like story and character at the end. But yo, I love this episode, man. I tell you, when they bring up like stuff from the past, like you can get pissed off about it because that shit was some bullshit back in the days, but it's just like a life learning lesson to learn that there was some fucked up shit that happened in the past. Some of it is still happening till today, but it's just we have to take it as black people to be in like, gotta do better. That's that. All it is at the end of the day is just you gotta do better. Even though sometimes it's hard, but it's just you gotta do better. But love this episode. Shit was great. But overall, like, comment, subscribe, and share. And I catch you all in the next one.